Okay, November 14th, 7 p.m. I call Board of Finance meeting to order. Seeing how we have no alternates, no seat, anyone? Although I did want to just officially welcome Mark Johnson to our meeting tonight, who's interested in potentially being an alternate. Tonight's main focus is on the review of the annual financial report prepared by Dave Capoletti. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Dave, to walk us through work.
Okay, so there's some new faces here, so I'll just let you understand what an audit is. So Claremont Associates, we prepared the audited financial statements, as well as we do test work on compliance and internal controls to make sure that they're following the state and federal guidelines, regulations, both within the grants and also as far as reporting, making sure that there's internal controls on financial reporting and financial systems. And then to go through and review the financial statements, I usually start on page 10, which is Exhibit F. This would be the general fund. So between the budget to actual, and here we're showing halfway down, you'll see revenues over expenditures. We have a surplus of $576,000 from operations. Is how we look at that. And then with that, that's 576,000 of that money. You put 506,000 into your capital non-reoccurring savings funds, and then you relinquished to 383,000, which made a surplus of $453,000, of which this money you committed $473,000 to next year's budget. So you're basically giving that money back to the taxpayers, right, to reduce next year's taxes, which has almost a break even on your fund balance for your general fund. So you're down 20,000, but it's minimal compared to your budget. Okay,
and that still stays within our guidance on the fund balance, correct?
Correct. Yep. Yep. So yeah, basically, this is if I was to say rating agency or bonding, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see a surplus in your operations, and then you want to see that money being reinvested into the town's capital improvement program. And Morris has a long history of funding, not bonding. So you're pre-funding these capital projects, and you're able to keep up with a pretty aggressive capital improvement plan over the last few years, with a little help from ARPA, but basically you've been doing this pretty well by yourself.
So do your guidelines from the state vary in percentage wise of just what you suggest year to year, or do they pretty much stay stable?
Is the, as far as what, say it again?
The amount we put aside every year percentage wise. So I think we said we were what, 11 to 13% is what we'd like to put aside.
Yeah, so what we usually like when you put money aside, we really like to see a capital plan behind it, right? Because you're a business, you just want to show the taxpayers that you're not making money, that you're actually putting it aside for a long-term capital. And you have an aggressive capital plan here. So yeah, in these times you would think that you would have more funding. And then if you had a lesser capital plan, which Connecticut you don't see much, then you would see lower funding, and then more money being returned to the taxpayers by funding next year's. You're not a regional school district, but they're limited to 2% of the total appropriations. So that might be a guideline, but that's the only thing in the state statutes. You're not limited to how much you could put in there. But if you're a school district, you would be.
I think we're talking two different things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
We set internal limits.
yeah,
We set internal.
what we do is we try to keep our general fund balance between 10 and 14%.
Oh,
So we've been staying,
Pretty much.
right now we're at the 12%, right?
Yeah.
So really, we're probably gonna have another $400,000 to move. Either back to the taxpayer or more into capital. I
So,
think that's what we're talking.
yeah,
exactly.
if we go over to page 7.
Document.
Yeah. So if you compare that to another town, you're gonna notice that you're a little smaller. You're gonna see
Probably other towns at 18 to 22% area, but you have your $2 million in your general fund, which is on your first line item, but then you also have savings and capital and non-reoccurring of 1.3 million. Because you have a nice savings and capital projects, or your capital non-reoccurring, it allows you to, for your fund balance in your general fund to be a little lower. And so, yeah, what you hear a lot is 12%, which is basically handling the normal operations of the town. If you went to bond or council, Connecticut has a large percentage of property tax income in towns compared to other states. So they're going to say to you, well, geez, we're used to 20 and 30 and 40%, but that's because you won't see that in the state of Connecticut. What you'll really see is around 12%, but you also want to match that with, it's not only the quantity, but the quality. So you also want some savings in your capital non-recurring, so that if you, in an emergency purpose, you don't have to dip into that 12%.
We've been pretty good about that past couple of years. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to go forward here is that, like I said, you have the $2 million in your general fund. You got the 1.6 million undesignated, so that's available to be appropriated for any purpose. And then you put in the 473,000 to next year's budget, so you're returning that to the tax. We also in here have the American Recovery Plan. We also included in the back of schedule by project, so you see how those are going. And the only thing that we separated is the interest earned on the ARPA money has to be spent for the same purpose. So that's that 14,000. So how you would read this is that on the money you spent, you have $434,000 that are ready to be, that hasn't been expended yet. And then you have $14,000 of interest earned on that money that has to be spent for the same purpose as ARPA under the ARPA guidelines. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if you got the email today from OPM. Oh, you didn't. Yeah, there is yeah. So the state of Connecticut has a desktop review process. So just so you know, is on page 58. There were some guidelines that you needed to follow. You'll get it, but they're just, the state's going to ask for questions quickly, they said. So hopefully what I've been putting in is the Schedule 8 that breaks down by project, what's spent, what's appropriated. So that'll help you in answering the questions what the state's going to ask you. Yeah. Okay. Then 56, 57 is another schedule that shows how your capital non-recurring. It's broken up between committed projects, the projects that you've appropriated and haven't expended yet, and then on the bottom is your unassigned. So this is the money available to appropriate. So you do still have at the end of 2023, you had 133,000 in that account that was unappropriated onto a specific project. But you still had 1.2 million that has been committed to projects, just not expended yet. So that's how it's read.
On page 57, total available is 1.7.
37.
Total committed 57.
Oh, 57.
Page 57
Yeah, sorry.
is total available.
Yeah, so underneath is that 57. So you have on the last column, it has the breakdown of your fund balance. So basically altogether you have $1.3 million basically in that fund. And the way you're breaking that up is 1.2 million is reserved for specific projects that you haven't completed yet. And then 133,000 is available to be appropriated.
Yeah, that total available was for last year, and then the next column over is how much of it we spent. That's how you end up with
Okay,
1.2.
Gotcha. Then we put money back in there, or is that?
Yeah, this is only based on last year, so we put another 400 in. Unassigned, I think, went up. No, unassigned, yeah, went up like 86,000. I think we committed 306,000.
This is happens here.
Yeah, it'll be next year.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind this schedule is to get through these projects as quick as you can, so that you could take that unspent committed, put it back down to uncommitted and have it reappropriated to a new project. Yeah, I could show you some towns that are tremendously wasteful because there's so much money in the pipelines. So the idea is you shrink that pipeline, so you're saving money as soon as you don't spend it, get it appropriated again, so it saves more money that has to come into the system. And so that's one thing that this schedule helps you go through, and this is, it also illustrates how your town is doing pretty well at doing this.
Right.
Yeah, you,
So a lot of these capital improvements are not fully funded. Right, so.
no, they're all, I believe they're fully funded. This is all cash savings, so the ones in front of you are fully funded. And the cash available was appropriated for these funds.
Well, I think one of the things we talked about, they might say fully funded. But is it fully funded for that year, what we allotted for that year versus the
Right.
next? And
Okay, yeah, you might have more appropriate coming into the project.
Right, we ladder it up.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly, yeah, we don't have that here, correct, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So some of these like road projects are well over what's already in the balance. So we plan on sort of adding to it year over year.
Yeah.
So we have the full funding for that particular project.
Okay, yeah,
That's pretty common.
no, yeah. So like I said, you're using this appropriately. I mean, that's basically what you want to see in capital projects. You don't want this list to get extended and money not being spent and just sitting there over 5 years, 3 years. You know, you want to put it in, I think what you're doing is putting it in small chunks so you could do it, wait until it's completed, appropriate more. Yeah. And like I said, the idea behind this is to shrink down that pipeline so that you're, when the money's available, you're spending it as quickly as possible. Not just sitting on money. Yeah. So,
But would you recommend, instead of sort of doing that, sort of pick off some of these lower cost projects? To kind of reduce your,
well, I mean, the idea behind this is to, you know, if you were managing these projects and, your highway, public works. Yeah, most of them are his projects. You want to
Right.
call him and say, what are you doing? Push him, push him, push him, push him, you know? So that's the idea behind this. We want him to get these done as quick as possible. So then he can call the contractors and say, what are you doing? We want this done. We want this done. Yeah.
well, right, so every year costs go up. So if we have the money for a particular project.
Yeah, but the idea behind it too is that don't sign. If you sign 10 projects, we have to fund them all at once.
Right.
So we need not 1.2 million, we're gonna need 2.2 million, and all of a sudden you're going into bonding,
Right.
and let's do this without bonding.
Try to break it down in severity pretty much.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
On
Really,
the
it's been
projects that need it the most.
a grant game. We're waiting on the grants
Yeah.
and then
are you
trigger
doing,
as soon as the grants get approved.
you doing federal grants?
Whatever they can.
It's like we just received another $500,000 steep grant for John White Road Bridge.
Okay, yeah, the steep
We
is,
have to,
Match that.
given that the cost is estimated.
Yeah.
200,000 more, we're gonna have to find that 200,000.
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, one of your neighboring towns, they do a tremendous amount of federal highway grants, and those can take 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is you're committing it, that 200,000 is sitting there, waiting until the federal money is approved and going through and that's the situation you don't want to be in. Because you got 200,000 that's available to spend, but you can't because it's committed for a grant project, so. Yeah, you might be feeling that eventually too.
Well, a lot of our bridges luckily are not federally
Yeah, that's,
built, or you could not use the federal funding for that. We're
Yeah.
more of a state or local funding, so
yeah, and
22 feet, I think, is the limit for. Kyle?
Yeah, it's 22. Yep.
22 feet.
As far as the span of the bridge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We only have a couple in town that are federal, but.
Yeah, and
this
the,
one is a big one.
Some bigger bridges.
yeah, you have either, and repaving, you have cut through repavings, which do a tremendous amount of work at time. But you're not really doing that.
Right.
Those are some of the projects that we see instead, just. But like I said, overall, the town is pretty well managed financially and well organized. So, it's, so like I said, this was a town that usually have to come in and teach this. It's pretty much happened. So, which is great.
So one of the things I think we asked at the last few times we met with the auditors is. You see anything glaring that we could. Get on top of, or if you're seeing a state trend you see any fundings from the state changing where we might have to kind of prepare ourselves like we did in 18?
Exactly. I mean, the thing is that, yeah, in 2018, you had a tremendous time coming off of the state. And you're almost off the state, off of the state, and you don't have education, so, you know, you're not really getting a lot of those state grants, the federal grants. So you're not really have a lot of dependency on that, which is nice. I mean, it was a little bit painful,
It was
but
500,000.
now you don't have those.
Starting to creep up a little
I know, they're up to like 194 now.
What's that?
for next year.
ECS.
Yeah, but that just flows through basically, right?
Yeah, but we went from 657,000, we dropped down to like 90-something thousand. And then we're slowly creeping back up again based on their, whatever changes they make in the formula.
Yeah, and,
Picking.
Educational cost sharing.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, and they've made, what they do, over 100 different changes to the education system in the last. So, I mean, that's not your problem, but the other thing they're gonna increase is excess costs. It's the response to COVID. It's not something you guys. So in the surrounding states, they almost fund 100% of excess costs. Excess costs is you have a child that usually costs, $10,000 per child. That's low. It's usually about 12,500, but some children cost more, So the state of Connecticut funds up to just a small percentage of that. They're increasing that next year.
That's good for us, because that's a big.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's been a push in the education to be almost fully funded, like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts. They're fully funding those programs. And so there's been a push, and then that's their response. They're pushing it up to 5% reimbursements, which is up from about 3% last year. And the education got an extra big chunk of money for excess costs in the last year, but which probably helped you a little bit. But, I mean, they're changing over regions, so there's. But yeah, that's a whole different thing that you guys don't really have to worry about, except for, hoping that your regional school district doesn't come back and ask for more money.
Right.
Or you get some chance back.
They asked for less.
No, I mean, overall, I think, it's pretty well. Yeah, you do have some no federal monies coming down. I think you're on top of that. Right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's, I think you've handled that pretty well. Some other towns are using that for that federal fund. They're gonna have some problems. You have, everything that you are using is a one-time cost, great. So you're doing that well. Eventually the COVID and the ARPA money is gonna dry up. And so other towns have to decide what they're doing with it. You really helped it define capital not reoccurring. And so I think you did a good job with that.
Weaned ourselves off. I was just thinking, usually Carrie's the one that asks a bunch of questions. Keep looking at the screen. I'm like, Carrie. Well, that's good. So we balance our biggest fight, I think, at the end of the year between us or among us is how much we fund capital versus how much we play with the mill.
Yeah.
And I think we've struck a nice balance. To the point where, we're not hog tying our progressiveness versus, trying to make things better for us, for residents, right? I pay taxes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So,
And you're saving a tremendous amount of money with no bonding, no loans.
absolutely.
So that's, yeah, and now you're getting that nice interest rate. So the interest rates are helping out because you're a saver, so you're getting 5% on that. So.
Right.
It's really helped you this year.
We're actually making quite a bit of money on interest.
I'm surprised that it's that.
Yeah, it's the,
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
It's better than all the mortgage rates. Be better. It's 7.5.
Better than 0.3% interest.
Right.
Well, it's better to be
It
a
drives up so fast.
saver than a lender right now, I mean, think of it this way, if you didn't save, you'd be spending that and borrowing money. So, so,
Yeah, we double.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We would be paying mortgage rates, to borrow money.
So you were in contact, do you converse throughout the year if there's any major changes, or is that you directly working through OPM?
No, I mean, I'll ask him a question on something, but no, not, I mean,
Yeah, if I
Maybe-
see something that comes up, like I just
Yeah.
mentioned, that he's gonna get an email about what they're gonna need for ARPA. If I see something coming my way, I'll show it. Or if then we do about 20 some odd towns. So if someone else says, hey, did you see this? I'll say, oh, this might be something you'd be interested in, and vice versa. So we try to mix it.
Yeah, he's pretty good at giving us heads up, so we're good.
Cool. And Dave, there's a state single audit report. I don't remember seeing that last year.
Oh, well, if you haven't seen it, so this is just, like I said, is that with the financial statements, we do additional work on the state and federal grants. There's no federal grants that, because you didn't receive 700,000. But then in this is a report, compliance and internal controls over reporting and internal controls and compliance over state financial assistance. And so those are unmodified opinions, which means that there was no conditions or no reportable conditions to it.
You would have to report if it was over 700,000 for a federal.
Yeah, over 300,000 for state grants, we have to do one of these, and over 700,000 for federal, we would have to do one for the federal. So it's usually your bridge programs I have to take a look at. I get
We
that.
might have one next year, because we just need $500,000 on each road.
What about the one, what did we do before that? Smoky Hollow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Smoke Hollow, we,
That's finally done.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah, it was like
wasn't
2
that,
million.
yeah, that was way over. So
yeah, no, we had to do that a
Yeah,
couple years
That
ago.
was,
Yeah.
So that was,
So this coming fiscal year, you'll have to do one for,
Most likely, if you mix that with the ARPA money, you're probably pretty close.
yeah, because that was a half month.
Which,
The East Shore Road.
Oh, grant. Grant was 500.
so that's under the 700. Oh, that's a state.
That's a state.
State over 300,000.
spent in 1 year though, so the 500,000 is gonna be spent.
1 year.
Is it?
1 year, done.
Oh, it is, okay.
It's crazy how fast 700,000 can go.
I know.
Keeps piling money, forget it.
That was it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days.
It's crazy. We just gotta get it back.
That went well, right?
Went perfect. Yep. Guys did a great job.
The complaints were non-issue. There was nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Cool.
You're driving too fast now is what I'm hearing. Because the road's so smooth.
Put in speed humps, like it hit you.
And so North Shore and East Shore and speed traps.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, you get a bumpy road, people go slow, you get a fast, nice.
Suppose we keep our potholes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say.
It's state police that have put speed traps in there.
No, I just,
Yeah.
I remember when, I think North Shore Road first got fully
Yeah.
paved, there was a state trooper that was sitting in the
Yeah.
parking lot over there by White Memorial.
That's all good.
Just saw a bear down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Middleware.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
I the auditor for Litchfield. I'm there quite.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right, there's not many of us left, not many of us
Yeah.
left, so. No, I do Bethlehem, Morris, Litchfield, Regional School District 6. That's fine, yeah.
Northwest Hills, just like our school name,
Northwest Wilson? Like, I thought it was Lakeview.
one or the other.
One or the other.
We go down on the
Western.
Western, Western Hill, there we go.
Or like.
Lakeview or Northwest Wilson?
All right, anybody else have any questions for Dave?
No.
Appreciate you coming.
No problem.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
We have to sign.
Have any questions?
I don't think you guys have to do it.
You used to have to send it in, but he sends it in and then I have to send it in. The state has all the information from you, I believe. You
Yeah,
get
so
them-
no, so there's an error system. You can look at any audit in the state of Connecticut is on their system. So I'll upload it to there. And then on top of that, they have another system they've set up that basically Rick has to take some numbers and put them in there. And those become comparative so that all towns look identical.
Where you been?
It's funny because then they'll tell me.
Yeah.
Do you want to use that number? I say yes. Like, why don't you just take them, do it yourself?
I know.
It's like, it's so weird.
Yeah, the state has been in,
You'll retype later.
what the state used to do, they're pushing everything down. Yeah, I know. And you'll see that tie, you'll see.
Yes, Tar.
Yeah.
That's them.
They figured they found to us. We could lace people up and let you guys do it.
Do you get this in digital?
Yeah.
I haven't. You haven't had, right?
Oh,
I don't have the final.
Oh, you don't?
I think you sent me,
Okay, no, I will send it.
yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the one that's uploaded to the state, so, but I'll be.
Posted too.
Okay, so one question, is our funding policy for retirement in terms of actuarial tables, is that pretty consistent across
towns.
So they have an actuary report done every year, and that's actually, and we do a 10-year in the, let's see, it starts with page
32.
40, yeah. Oh, yeah, page, page, yep. Yeah, 40 it starts. So, you know, with here, you got the town plan and then you got two fire plans. One's, you know, obviously done and other one's just beginning. And so, yeah, by law, you're supposed to have an actuary evaluation every 3 years to figure out what your required contribution is. And then we get a report from them on an annual basis, just to double check these numbers that we're reporting. And like I said, is that so far you guys are pretty well funded at 82%.
So is that you said every 3 years, not every year?
Every 3 years you get a valuation done, which is a little bit more work. And then every year they do they give me the disclosures to put in to the financial statements. So,
But don't we pay that every year now, Rick?
yeah.
Yeah, no, but you pay a little extra during the evaluation year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, you're rotating probably. Right? Yeah, so, yeah, it's a little bit extra work so that they double check your ARC payments, their contributions. And I think you're overfunded, right?
So if you look at page 33,
Yeah.
it shows. Now, the town plan will always fluctuate. We got, everything's in investments, so. You know, some years you have good years of investments, some years we go down, but this year. The new plan, we're only at 27%, but there's no one collecting off that one. And then Morris Fire Company's done, no, MVP is done, this should have been switched.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Okay.
two have to switch.
All right, yeah.
So MVFD is really the 105. That's the old plan. That one's fully funded. And then the Morris Fire Company is at 27. That's the brand new one.
Yeah, so they, you know, this is all based on the remaining life of the pension plan. So obviously the one just started, who's knows gonna be collecting for quite a bit. Is a longer life, so that's a lot, they're breaking it over longer costs, so obviously you're only 22% because you have so much longer to fund it. Well, the one is 106, it's closed, you needed to fund it 100%.
Right, 105 goes up and down based on the market.
Yeah. Yeah, basically,
Not much, no. We got it pulled out. It's mostly in savings accounts now.
Okay.
Now, it's not making 6% or.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're 100% funded.
Yeah, we don't want to now.
Why take the risk?
I mean, it's crazy. We pay about $13,000 in expense for the actuaries to handle 64 people. That's what really hurts the town.
Yeah,
And it never goes away. Even if there's one person in a plan, it never goes away. You still pay the 4,500 because that's just, the state requires it. That's why. Can't stop it.
Oh, the state mandates the cost.
Or yeah, somebody, I'm not sure about the cost.
Private.
there is, so if it gets under 25, there is, you can take a less expensive method.
Well, we should do that then.
Are you under 25?
Under two of them are under 20, all three are under 25. The fire company will go over 25.
What people?
But right now, the town plan's only 21 and Morris Volunteer Fire Department is only 19. And there's nobody being added to those.
Right.
And a dead plan, you probably could get away with the less expensive method as well.
If there's any way, we'd love it.
Yeah, okay.
Cause I fight every day on that one, so that'd be free.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 pensions, that's the problem is.
Yeah, the problem is 3 pennies.
Yeah, you're funding 3 pensions and unfortunately each of them are.
Of course, 54 grand a year just for the actuary to look at those 3 plans.
And investors, right? It's investment fees too.
It's 16 times.
What do you mean for each person?
No. For each plan, it's $16,000.
No. It's 13,500 total. No, it's only 13,000. But I'd like to have 13,000.
No wonder you, no wonder you're excited about it.
No, but no, there's like, if you look at the Morris Volunteer Fire Department, there's people in their 30s. That means we're gonna pay $200,000. If we stay the way we are now, $200,000. If they pass away when they're 80. Just an administrative cost, nothing, and they're only making $30.
Right.
So we're keeping this plant open for, no one makes more than $105. It's
No way
crazy.
around it.
Yeah, I mean, over here, This year, in 2023, the benefits paid out was 4,700. The administration costs were 4,000.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah, so you're almost, pretty soon you're gonna flip.
It's.
For a couple hours worth of work.
And you've tried to pay them off, right? You tried.
Yeah, which, yeah.
Yeah, they don't want it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, that is a way of doing it, right?
Yeah, if you get one.
Oh, yeah, no, we've done everything we could do.
There's no way to have like off-boarded to like a third party or anything like that.
We looked into that, but what happens is everyone's getting such a small amount, no one wants to take that annuity on.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
Oh,
want?
yeah, I don't know, exactly.
That's the problem. The 100,000 sounds good until they realize they have to give it among 20 people.
Right?
They're like, not gonna do it.
Oh, you fast, right, that's, yeah, that was.
Yeah, everyone came back and
Ways,
said,
they said no.
Yeah.
The companies did or the people?
The companies.
The companies.
So
don't
people
want to take-
really the people really can't say anything about it because as long as they're gonna get their money.
Exactly. As long as they're gonna get their money.
The problem is no one wants to
Well,
take.
that's,
the
yeah,
job.
usually you close it up,
Someone's
someone's put it
gonna
into an
charge
annuity
us.
company and they'll manage the whole thing for you.
Yeah.
That's not, you can't find a company that will do it.
We're still trying, we'll find a way sooner. or later.
Too bad you just couldn't consolidate, but that's not, you can't do that either.
Anything else?
No. Thanks for that. I was just curious.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that.
All right, no problem.
Thanks, Lee.
No problem.
You're welcome to stay if you want.
You want to stay or go?
Items? Probably not.
He's out the door.
Yeah. It's riveting.
I don't understand.
You have to leave the car.
How many years have you been going to these things?
Couple.
How many public meetings have you been to?
Next item. Thank you again.
No problem. Thank you.
Next item, was the meeting minutes from 8/22. Everyone took a look at those, sent them out. We'll make a motion. Well, can someone make a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
What day was that?
8/22.
Scott and Bill.
Those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Carries. The next item I wanted to kind of get the group's thoughts on, and we don't have to decide tonight, but we do need to decide by the end of the year. Is kind of the calendar of meetings. So. Last year, we did Thursdays, this year we'll do Tuesdays. I don't know if Tuesdays are better than. I think we were trying to kind of work around a little bit about your schedule with your EMT class. I think that's-
Yeah, that's all over with.
Right,
Tuesday's definitely better.
Tuesdays are better.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then, so we can keep it at Tuesday nights and then. The other option is how many. Times a month do you guys want to meet? We haven't met in almost over a month, because there's really nothing to discuss. You guys. Treasurer sends us reports.
Yeah, because that's an actionable, we don't really need to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
So our planning phase is really kind of. When do those budgets start to come in, Tom?
Probably like February.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we were meeting on a weekly basis in February and March. I don't know that we need to meet every week, but
I mean, you could go whatever you want, obviously, like once a month in the off season,
right,
say, and then twice a month, or if you want to go heavier in the budget season. Yeah. That goes through May.
And right now, I'd say like. Like every 2 weeks, but during sort of like the slower time, it's like once a month. I don't see the need. And then quite honestly, I think March is when we were busy in terms of like end of February and sort of like March and April is like when.
right. So
So
I think this past year we did every week in March and April. I think we were done by May.
You're done pretty early. last
Right.
year. Yeah.
We brought
nice to
everybody
get
in.
done early.
Sure. So why don't I could send out a proposed meeting schedule for the group.
Yeah, probably good like the third Tuesday of each month, because then at least you'll know, I'll give you the report and you guys could actually look at them.
So that's gonna be one of my questions in terms of when do you feel like,
No, all the reports I've said I'd always have them before the 10th to you guys, depending on how the weekends end.
yeah,
But at least give you a chance to see it and look them over. But I would say the third Tuesday of any month, within the month.
Yeah. So.
That's what you guys.
Why don't you write that down?
You guys.
For our meeting minute.
maybe did like the first and third or something. we did whenever 2 weeks, you know,
during the season, the finance season.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm totally open.
Yeah,
I don't want to meet for the sake of just having a meeting.
I understood.
Unless it's something like, you know,
But again, what we did in the spring was get through every department,
Yeah, no, that works. That's smart.
right? So we kind of did that every week. And then we sort of petered off a bit in the summer, and then the fall's been really lean after the town approved the budget.
Yeah, we were scheduled weekly in the summer, but I think we made a command decision that just, you know, just call it.
Yeah,
We don't have to show up.
well, you have to put a schedule together for the Zoom links. So
Well,
why don't-
you need a schedule for the Secretary of State
right,
by January, well, the end of January, but January first is generally a good time.
Yeah.
So otherwise we'll have special meetings in January instead of regular.
I mean, so, I mean, the question is like, okay, if we're doing every 2 weeks, are you gonna wanna meet on the 28th?
No.
Well, this month.
this month, no.
No, you
For next year.
We're having.
Oh, for next year, sorry, that's right.
So we're gonna put that on the meeting minutes that will meet every month on the you said second?
I would do the third, just so you had it, so you guys can look at them.
Thursday, 0700.
So that'd be the January 23rd would be the first meeting.
Yep.
No, actually the 16th,
The sixth.
because the second is a Tuesday.
It's up to, I mean, you'll have the reports. It's, if we want to be consistent, it's fine either way with me.
I'm not even gonna put it in there. I just say you're gonna work on it. You forward it to us at our next one. We'll plug it in.
Well, you stole my pen, so that's what I was relying on, something right there.
Nice one.
All right, the next item, start the discussion on the budget planning for next year, so I think we sort of, based on what I'm hearing, we start that in February.
Yeah, generally try to have all the budgets back to departments. End of January. And it should be all put together, you know, ready to go by mid-February.
Right, so how do you want us involved in that? I know typically it's presented to you, you work through the departments. I think we had asked last year to get preliminaries, just to give us a heads up on those
Yeah, I mean,
come in.
I
Not
think
that they're-
after I go through with each department head and then we have a budget to give you, we'll just send it to you.
Right, but do you want us involved in that
No, because that's really a discussion between management and department head.
Okay.
So once that's done, their budget will be done, ready for the finance.
Okay. Good with that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I actually enjoyed him doing the skeleton of the budget,
Yep, same.
getting all the guts built. And we just chew through the lines with questions and.
Yeah, I think again, you presented your preliminary budget to us. We kind of went through it.
Yep, we put notes next to it every.
What's next to it, then we pulled in the departments that we,
Yeah, I mean, the reason I do it with department heads is because there's things I know that about their budget that they actually don't know.
right,
I know what's coming down the pipeline with some state stuff, everything else. So we work together to get their department budget presentable.
the other item of that is kind of these capital projects. When we start those discussions in January,
Yeah, I've already started reaching out to some of the department heads like Kyle and Kristen, you know, the ones with larger requests generally. To really start thinking about anything that's upcoming for the next year that they may need to be thinking about for a capital expense.
right,
Will you have a capital group put together?
Yeah, we normally had Kyle, Rob, Ebner, myself, and may get Kristen involved in this because there's going to be some more activity, I think, down at the recreation area and also at the senior center. So I think Kristen would be a good voice beyond that. The other departments generally don't have a lot of capital requests.
yeah. Transfer station,
Yeah, we have, I've talked to Dave Hart. There's some issues down there that we want to address hopefully in the next year, next fiscal year.
okay. And then any fall projects, winter projects, or?
Oh, you got anything? You don't have anything on the table, do you?
For this budget?
No.
For this, or
Current fiscal year?
Yeah,
for this fiscal year?
for this fiscal year,
Well, that's what I brought in, it's an equipment repair.
The tractor?
It's for one of our trucks.
Oh, tractor's done.
Tractor's done. Yep.
All right, so let's close out the discussion for budget for next year. We'll start planning that in January. So the next item is other new business. So
Yeah, so, okay, I made some copies, basically what this is, it's for one of our trucks, it's for the, sander spreader. What's on there now is functional for us. So I have an estimate to repair it, replace it with something that's gonna work better. If we were to take this out of our, repair budget, it would leave us with not very much in case something else came up. So that's why I wanted to bring it here, to kind of discuss, where the best place to pull this money is. Because if I do take it out of, my regular budget, there's a good chance I may end up going over on the repair line.
so this is a replacement for a current,
Yeah, this is, it's a 2015 Mack. And what it has is like a twin screw system to distribute the salt.
Yep.
But what we're noticing is it's bridging up and he's going down his route and, it's not putting any material out. Cause it's like bridging, nothing's flowing through it. We tried putting an aftermarket, like a temporary vibrator on there to kind of shake the material into the tray. But that's not working. It won't put sand down. We have to do like our gravel roads. It doesn't work. We've had,
So it's
No,
not
there-
clumping. It's not a clumping
it's,
issue.
it's just, yeah, nothing
How long have we had the
coming
truck?
out. We've had the truck since 2016. It's a 2015.
So is this like a new phenomenon,
We've been trying to work with it.
2016?
Yeah, it's really, now we're using a treated salt. So it's more like, it's stickier. And it's not working out well.
So is this what the other towns are using or you just?
Well,
know
everybody
better?
that, like I was talking to the dealer for this. And they said everybody that had that system is changing out of it because they're finding it's not
Everybody's
functional.
had the same problem,
Yeah,
this,
yes.
so this is gonna be end of the line for this particular
Yeah,
project.
it was a kind of like a new thing when we got the
Yep.
truck.
Exactly.
And the idea was it's a more even spread of material going down the road, but it's just bridging and nothing's coming out. And
it's really even.
I'm calling the guy, I'm like, hey, are you not putting any salt down? He's like, yeah, I'm putting it down at 300 pounds a mile, and it's like, all right, well, there's an issue, something's not right. So that's why we investigated, we tried, taking the tray out of the thing, so there wasn't any restriction. And it's, we're having a lot of problems with it.
So it's a dependency versus chew up the rest of your budget.
Yeah,
So would you say they put this out on the market before it was thoroughly tested?
I would say,
Yeah,
yeah,
so it sounds like to me, shove it right out there to sell it.
right. Yeah, it wasn't a good thought process.
No,
We
put
really
it
don't,
on the back of
we don't
a
have,
truck or two.
but we can do honestly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you could do.
Just because it's 12.5 versus.
Well, it's really a capital item anyway. It's with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, even though this says 133,000, we really have 220,000, somewhere around there. Because last budget, we put 306,000 of the 400,000 onto projects, and we threw in that 94,000 or 93,500 into unassigned to build that up in case a bridge came up. You know what I mean? Like how Tom was saying, 200,000 for a bridge. That's the reason why we're building. Remember, we wanted to figure out which way, we didn't wanna, like he was saying, you don't wanna code it to something and find out that can never get done, that money's just sitting there. That's why we put it on a sign. So, I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to work on the bridge with the money. But you also, like I said, you still have $233,000. Honestly, the way interest is coming in, you buy this thing with interest with
I was
it.
gonna say, yeah.
I'm getting about $4,000 worth of interest
Yeah, and
just in that.
that 14 grand in ARPA doesn't go that way, does it? We have 14K in unspent ARPA.
No,
For maintenance. Like,
so
That truck's the only one with that setup.
Yeah,
I mean, I see other trucks with it. I mean, And I'm sure you've played with it when it's warmer too, in terms of does it
Right.
spread even when
Well,
it's.
that's why it's like, that's why we were waiting, because it was a newer truck. And it's like, we gotta figure out a way to make this work because this is the way we bought it. And it's, talking with other towns that have tried this, it's not working out.
That old system is not sellable. I'm guessing.
So Kyle, you had,
A lot of the parts that are already on it, it's custom fixed that they have to make. Because they're using the same body, they're just taking the augers out and putting a chain conveyor system.
you had, looking at your budget, $45,000 for highway repairs. and things.
Yeah, I think we're down close to 20 now, in the balance. Which would leave me with 8 if roughly 8,000 if we.
Do you see anything that's gonna break?
Hopefully not, depends on our winter, but. It's just regular maintenance just eats up a lot, I had to,
Well, yeah,
filters, it's crazy how much those went up, like oil filters, fuel filters.
Right.
how many, and that's, I mean, how many, just, I gotta ask, I mean, in terms of other, have you got any other quotes for this?
Well,
Besides that
this
one?
is, they priced this through, I believe it's a state bid contract. Cause it's a Monroe body, and they're the only dealer that services those trucks in Connecticut. The Monroe bodies,
So this is the sander component of the
yes,
truck.
yep.
And is it transferable or is it put it
What
on?
it is, it's the dump body on the truck, it has like a trough in it where the system is.
Yeah.
So they take that out, where the augers are, and they put the conventional chain conveyor in it. So there's not much that's really changing other than just that one.
Is this,
So
you guys do the work or you send it out?
this would get done at their dealer, East Hartford.
How many, what yard dump is it?
It's a 8-yard.
So if the 2015 died, is this something you could transfer to a new vehicle? Or is it a
Well, we built
specific for that?
it with a stainless body because of the longevity. So there is a chance that you could take this body off and put it on another chassis.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, for a lot of money probably.
Yeah,
So the estimated cost is $12,485. Now. Is there anything? Are we gonna get the parts or is that just gonna be considered junk? Or is there anything that we can utilize?
well, not
Whatever.
really, because the new system,
What's that?
they have to reroute the hydraulic line because the motors on this system are in the back.
Okay.
Where the hydraulic motor would be in front of the body with the new system.
Okay.
So it really isn't something we'd have any use for,
Okay,
so they would.
just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, they might use it for I mean, I could see if they would pick some money back for, parts, but.
Give us a little loving.
Yeah.
How much is it, I mean, I know you wouldn't do this, but like, okay, so it's an 8-yard dump, I mean, I'm just, thinking about like. A traditional sander,
Mhm.
in terms of sort of a cost differential, looking at sort of. If you weren't gonna sort of like rebuild that, like, let's just say that shit to bed right now, I mean, could you put a conventional sander in it?
Well, the problem with the conventional sander is it's not putting the material down in the middle of the road,
Oh, yeah.
because it's an all season, it's got, it puts it out on the driver's side. So when you put it in the middle of the road, it kind of melts evenly across the road.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying.
Use more.
The way the body is, it's an all-season body, so the side dump comes up on it, puts the material in.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like, these are all the questions that people are gonna ask in terms of looking at it, like, did you get more than one price? Okay. What are the other options? Okay,
Yeah.
so that system's not working. What about old school, just having, sander in the back? So you answer that.
Right.
These are the things I'm just like,
Right.
the price tag 12.4 doesn't really like. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's not in the scheme of things in terms of the cost of the truck and, what I need it for. I mean, personally, I think if we can get another price, I would feel more comfortable with it. I mean, I do think I would rather take it out of unassigned than, go through hitting his budget and then he goes over.
Right.
That's gonna, it's just the optics of his budget going over.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly. But also since we're earning 5% on our money right now and like, you know, I'm just looking at it in terms of just.
Yeah.
It's not a huge investment.
No, I agree with it. Could you get another quote? Or
I could try. I'm not sure who, I'd have to research who the other dealer is. You know, it may not be in Connecticut, but
It's not a huge investment, but you can save somebody's life by,
Oh, no, yeah, no.
no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah, this truck does a lane white road.
Yeah, no.
It's,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think
it's not melting, the road's
I
not.
know, Kyle, I get it. No. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at it in terms of like.
what
from
we're
an
gonna do.
optics standpoint of what we're gonna be asked, like, even if it's an out of state price, just have something else in writing saying, yeah, we did our due diligence. We got a price from somebody in New York who can do it.
It's gonna cost X amount of dollars to drive the truck
Drive the
there.
truck there
Would
and
you
everything.
approve up to a certain amount coming out of the capital non-recurring unassigned? So you can kind of get the ball rolling. Yes, go look for another price, but approve up to whatever.
Well, I would say not to exceed like, you know,
Exactly, just so,
exact what we
because it
have.
does take a while to get the parts to
yeah,
come in. and
no,
get the-
yeah. So I'm not trying to belabor the point. I'm
I
not,
know.
I wasn't gonna
I'm
send
just
Kyle
making-
away.
Just making a suggestion, that's all.
Oh, no, I wasn't
Yeah,
there
they
yet.
said
That's all.
You know, it would take till, you know, January if we said yes today to get the parts in, so it's,
Really?
yeah, it's not something they have, because a lot of it's custom.
Well, that sucks.
I've seen the firsthand what happens to people when.
Yeah.
Something goes awry.
Oh, yeah. Look, and I'm not trying to dick this around. I'm just
No,
looking.
I like that idea of taking out a capital
Yeah,
unassigned
fine,
up to,
good idea.
I think this is gonna go over this, the 12,000.
Make sure that I'll make sure that it doesn't.
You said from capital
I
understanding.
could see if maybe we could save a little bit by, you know, the town crew removing, you know, the old parts.
Yeah, I mean,
Save on some labor costs, you know?
yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion, you know, to take $13,000, not to exceed $13,000 from capital unassigned to replace existing sander with a stainless steel.
How about, I already wrote it. How about to replace purchase of conveyor assembly, from capital unassigned? Yep. Motion to approve 13,000, not to exceed 13,000 for purchase of conveyor assembly from capital unassigned. And I will, if that's Scott's motion, I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
And you don't even have to write to exceed, once I put 13,000 as a project, it can't go.
Can't exceed the-
I'll come back to you guys saying I made a mistake.
I mean, and that, I mean,
So you could, I would get another quote,
Okay.
just to do your due diligence.
Yep.
Send it to, yeah, we'll put it in the minutes.
It work?
Yeah, I'll try. Yep.
Any other,
Try hard.
That's all I have.
anybody else have anything else? You interested? You wanna talk? You wanna think about it?
I'll talk to you, yeah.
Okay.
Get to Jim tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's
All right. Scott,
I need to though.
I haven't seen you there in a while.
So we have, so with the election, we have 30 days to fill the vacancy,
The alternate.
the alternate vacancy.
Oh,
So
okay,
if we're not meeting until January,
well, that's a problem.
that is beyond the 30 days.
We should be in December.
We should meet in December.
Well, you have to do your calendar, you should have
Right.
it on December.
Right, so we can meet.
We should be in December because we have to do the calendar.
Yeah, you sure you have dates.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure you have dates already.
Yes,
Yeah, so you're good.
So if we want to meet in December, third Tuesday.
No, I'm saying you already have it for this. I don't know what days you guys picked already, but you already have December done. This December
already
was,
on the
you
calendar.
did it last year.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, I don't.
No, but we haven't met in a while because there really hasn't been a reason to meet.
Correct.
You don't want to do the third Tuesday, that puts you over 30 days.
That's-
You
it's over
wanna
30
make the
days.
Appointment.
Right,
So
so
it has to be beginning of December. Like December,
We don't want this Christmas even.
the first week. It has to be the first week in December to stay under the 30 days.
yeah, the 12th.
That's too long.
fifth. We have a,
It's gotta be,
December twelfth is 28 days.
oh, it is?
so there's a meeting on the fifth already.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have any surprises.
All right, so let's meet on the fifth. You let me know.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the sooner you know, because then we'll have to dig an alternate up fast.
Right.
Any word on Carrie? Is she,
Well, she's not voted in, but she wasn't elected.
oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that.
So Scott and I got, well, I got.
Yes. I didn't think that took effect yet. I just assumed that it didn't take effect yet.
I don't know that.
That's why I was wondering why we didn't,
I
why
think
we
it's-
didn't vote.
You think it's immediate?
Yeah.
There's certain elected officials that there's a lag before they come into office.
Right.
I was wondering why we didn't bump you up from alternate tonight. So. Okay.
So can you check on that?
And well, you two should also go to town clerks. This morning.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Do I
yeah.
have to do that again?
Okay,
I'll swing by tomorrow.
sounds good. Anything else? Anybody?
The generator for Jameson Moore School should arrive tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
Right?
paid for, discussed numerous times. So check that one off as done.
Pretty soon.
Okay, if there's nothing else, 7:55, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor? All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, now that we're off the record, we're gonna sell ourselves. Oh, no, I know, I get it.
Like that.